There is a creature. It's not in the closet. It's not under the bed. It's in the backyard.
Cleveland, run!
What's happening? I thought it was gonna be safe! Something went wrong. I'm sorry, I couldn't protect you.
Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Lady in the Water, rated PG-13, starts July 21st.
This movie was shit! This movie was fucking shit. Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to another movie review. This review is going to be on Lady in the Water from 2006. This might well be a movie review / rant. Film was written, directed, and produced by M. Night Shyamalan. The film stars Paul Giamatti, Bryce Dallas Howard, Bob Balaban, Jeffrey Wright, Freddy Rodriguez, Bill Irwin, and Jared Harris. Now, the film is based off of M. Night Shyamalan. This is a bedtime story that he used to tell his children, and he just turned it into a feature film. This film is absolutely fucking terrible. It is absolute dog shit. One of M. Night's worst films. And as for M. Night's films, I haven't seen The Sixth Sense, but I've seen bits and pieces here and there. Unbreakable is M. Night's best film. I really enjoyed Unbreakable. Did a review on it. So check back at my videos at my review of Unbreakable. And then he did Signs, which I haven't seen, but I heard it's pretty good. Then he did The Village, which I heard is pretty shitty. Then he did this, Lady in the Water. And then came The Happening, which The Happening is fucking terrible. It's so bad, it's hilarious. You have Mark Wahlberg going, "What? No!" And then him and Zooey Deschanel's characters are running from the wind. This scene where Mark Wahlberg is talking to a plant. And this guy talking about hot dogs. The Happening is just fucking terrible. I said, so bad it's hilarious. And I'd rather watch The Happening, even though it's a shitty film. I'd rather watch that film over this. And then he did The Last Airbender, which was fucking terrible. Another awful M. Night film. And then came After Earth, which After Earth is a guilty pleasure for me. I actually enjoyed After Earth, aside from Jaden Smith's terrible acting. I remember seeing that in the theater. And then he did The Visit, which I haven't seen, but I heard it's pretty decent. Split, I really enjoyed, with James McAvoy. And he also did Glass, which I liked Glass. I saw that in the theater. Aside from the ending, I just really enjoyed Glass. But man, Lady in the Water, this film, where do I begin? The story is a mess. It's a clusterfuck. The acting is just absolutely just meh, in my opinion. Paul Giamatti, he's the only one that I liked in the film. You know, even though his character had an impediment, a speech impediment, or stuttering, where he's going, yeah, that's Paul Giamatti in the film, where he's going, that's what he's doing. But the only things that I liked about the film was Paul Giamatti and Bryce Dallas Howard. Those two were the only thing that I liked about this whole film. Everything else, fucking awful. But basically what the movie's about is Cleveland Heap, who is played by Paul Giamatti. He's a superintendent of this apartment complex in Philadelphia, which is where the film takes place. And we find out that his family was murdered. And one night in the apartment complex's swimming pool, he discovers a Narf.
Narf!
No, not that Narf. A Narf named Story, who was played by Bryce Dallas Howard. And what a Narf is,
Narf!
again, not that Narf. A Narf is a water nymph. So Paul Giamatti's character sees, movement in the pool, and he slips, and he falls into the pool, and Paul Giamatti ends up rescuing a Story, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, from an attack by a Scrunt. Now, Scrunt in the film is this wolf-like creature that's grass-covered, and it hides by flattening its body against, a turf. And so, pretty much, basically, Paul Giamatti has to save Bryce Dallas Howard's character from the Scrunt and return her to her blue world. And pretty much that's basically what the plot to the film is about. But then you have also the scene where Bryce Dallas Howard is explaining that she is a Narf and that she's here to find the writer and the vessel who will be magically awakened when he meets her. And then this writer will write a book that will save humanity in the future. And so Paul Giamatti's character, he goes to one of his tenants to explain this, what is, Narf, like, was the story behind Narfs. And pretty much at the beginning of the film, we have a narrator, which the narrator is voiced by David Ogden Stirs, explaining how the magical Narf of the blue world provided guidance to humanity, millions and millions ago, and that humanity has forgotten the relationship. So that's pretty much that. But it's an original story, but still, M. Night turned this original story into a clusterfuck of a film. The story is terrible. It's all over the place. It's a fucking mess. The pacing of the film is slow to the fact that it becomes boring. The film is also boring. And you have M. Night in there as a character. He just slots himself into the film. You could tell by the film that Shyamalan's ego just, is all through the film. With him writing, directing, producing the film, and slotting himself in the film as a character. And M. Night's character is this guy, and he's writing this this book. It's going to be a cookbook. So, but overall, Lady in the Water. Even the title is misleading. She's not in the water throughout the whole film. She's on land. The movie should have been called Lady on the Land. Not Lady in the Water. She's barely in the fucking water. But when the film came out in 2006, when they marketed the film, the marketing of the film lied. Because they made people believe that this was going to be a horror film. And we did not get a horror film. We got a fairy tale fantasy thriller. And it didn't even come out as a horror film. But when the film was released, it did not do well. It was a financial failure. It had a budget of $70 million and only made $72 million in the US. So it was a financial failure at the box office. And it received Worst Picture, 4 nominations for Worst Picture, Worst Screenplay, won 2 for Worst Director, and Worst Supporting Actor for M. Night Shyamalan. Oh, man. It deserves it. This film deserved those nominations. And it won 2 for Worst Director and Worst Supporting Actor. Deserved. So, you had also Noah Gray Cabby. You all might know him. He's the kid who played Micah in Heroes. And there's a scene towards the end of the film where his character is reading the future. And he's reading it through cereal boxes. I'm not kidding. He's reading the future through cereal boxes. Oh, I have a cereal box right here. This is him in the film. I see the Narf and humanity will be good later on in life. The Narfs are going to save us. Yeah, that is what his character did towards the end of the film, reading the future. Fucking comical. I gotta say, the Scrunt, the look of the Scrunt, I thought was just okay. But when the film was originally planned to be produced by Touchstone Pictures, and Shyamalan's previous 4 films were released by Disney, because he had The Sixth Sense released by Hollywood Pictures, and then Unbreakable was released by Touchstone, and The Village, Signs was released by Touchstone, and The Village was also released by Touchstone, but no deal was reached with Disney to produce the film. So Disney executive Nina Jacobson spoken with Shyamalan about the film's storyline, the idea of which studio chairman Dick Cook didn't understand. And I don't blame him for not understanding it, because it's a clusterfuck of a story. So Shyamalan, it said right here, Shyamalan was reportedly angry about the response, claiming that Disney no longer valued individualism. Despite the fact that Disney was willing to completely fund the film regardless, Shyamalan rejected their offer and eventually presented the project to Warner Bros., who agreed to finance the film. The events that led to the making of the film were featured in a book called The Man Who Heard Voices by Michael Bamberger. So Shyamalan got pissed because, how do you not understand the story to this film? Well, if the film wasn't written such as a clusterfuck, it probably would have been understandable. And then a little bit of other trivia here. Shyamalan established a production facility at the Jacobson Logistics Warehouse, where sets for the apartment complex and a half-city block of row houses were built. So the apartment complex was built just for the film. So there you go. That's a little bit of trivia of the film. But Lady in the Water, this film is god-awful. It's one of M. Night's worst films. Just the story is a clusterfuck, is terrible. The pacing is slow. And it's boring. And just M. Night just slotted himself as a character in the film. He cast himself in the film. And it had a lack of consistency. So the only 2 things I liked about the film were Paul Giamatti, aside from him going and Bryce Dallas Howard. I thought those were the only 2 that did a good job in the film. You know, Paul Giamatti, he's a great actor. And but those are the only 2 that I liked in the film. But overall, Lady in the Water, fucking awful. Awful, awful film. But anyways, that's it for my review / rant of Lady in the Water. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and until next video, I'll see you all later.